to clarify again, I'm not ever here to debate. I just want to learn. Debates are for another time, right? Yeah, exactly. So just here to learn, to hear from you. I won't give you too much pushback. I think my first question today is a primary question that I think a lot of young Christians in the theological sphere have, and it's about Muhammad's third wife, Aisha.
Okay.
First of all, what in your conception is the orthodox belief about Aisha's age when not only Muhammad married her but consummated the marriage?
Sure. So, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he had multiple wives.
Right.
All right? And that's not uncommon for prophets of the Old Testament.
Right.
Right?
Of
As
course.
we know that Moses had more than one wife. We have Abraham, we have David and Solomon, right? How many wives David? Or Solomon?
Solomon had, what was it, 300 wives and another hundreds and hundreds of concubines, something like that?
700 wives.
700 wives. And then was it 300
First
more
Kings,
concubines? It was 300 more concubines, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So 700 wives, right?
Crazy, yeah.
Okay, so polygamy or multiple marriages was a norm for society. Every culture, almost every faith, right? All throughout history.
Right.
So what Islam did was, it came and it gave an upper limit to number of wives a person can marry. Not unlimited, but up to 4.
Right.
Yeah, chapter 4, verse number 3 of the Quran says that.
Yes.
Not only that, before Islam came to Arabia, husbands marrying more than one wife or even one wife, there was no responsibility of the husbands. Minimal responsibility. They can treat any which way. Justice, no responsibility, the way that Islam gave. So Islam gave also to give responsibility to the husband. That if you're going to marry, live with the wife in justice. If you're marrying more than one, do justice between them.
Right.
So not only Islam came to restrict the number of wives, it gave the responsibilities of the husbands to take care of the wife justly,
right,
and gave immense rights to the wives.
Okay.
So polygamy is a protection for the women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And obviously it is approved by Old Testament anyway.
Right.
Correct? That's
is it
not
approved or is it just... I don't think there's like a tacit approval in the Old Testament, right? It's demonstrated, but it's not necessarily approved by the mouth of God, wouldn't you say?
Well, the way I would say is that if people were practicing polygamy, God did not say anything against it.
Okay.
So it was permitted.
Sure.
It was permitted. Unlimited polygamy was permitted. Without checks and balance, it was permitted.
Right.
But then Islam came. It gave responsibility. It gave rights to women.
Right.
It gave protection to women.
Okay.
But polygamy is not an obligation for Muslim males. You know, I don't think he has 4 wives. Okay, 1 wife, right? I have 1 wife. It's a permission.
Yeah.
So it's a permission. It's not an obligation. Okay, fine. So let's come to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Yes, he had more than 4, didn't he?
Huh?
He had more than 4 wives, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he had more than 4 wives, but that's when the commandment of God came to have only 4. He already married more than 4 anyway.
Gotcha. Okay.
So for that reason, he did not divorce any one of the more than 4 wives.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not that, okay, the commandment came and then he still married the 5th and the 6th and the 7th.
Right.
That's not, yeah.
Okay.
Hope you understand that point.
That definitely makes sense. Now, did he how many wives did he have before the commandment came to only have 4?
Sure. More than 4. Some people say 11.
Okay.
Some people say 12, but let's say 11.
Okay.
Yes. So he kept all of them. He treated them the best way possible. He was the best husband, the best example for the family, the best neighbor. So he gave equal justice to all of them, the way that Quran demands it.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let's take a look at his marriages, right? Then I will come to Aisha.
Sure.
So all the marriages of the Prophet, peace be upon him, they were not for lust, they were not for money, they were not for any other reason.
Right.
They were for humanitarian reasons, to bring tribes together. You know, tribal warfare was there, and he married people outside of the tribe. Racism was there. So he also encouraged Muslims to marry those who are from the black race.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And there were many ex-Christians and ex-Jews. He also encouraged people to marry them.
Sure.
And there used to be, a lot of widows at that time. He married them. No one was marrying them, right?
Sure.
So his marriages were for humanitarian reasons.
Right.
To bring unity between the people.
Sure.
To develop brotherhood. To protect the widows and the orphans. To stop warfare.
Right.
For all of these noble reasons, he married multiple wives.
Okay.
All right. Let's come to.
I can see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's come to the wife Aisha. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, right? May Allah's peace be on her. She was the third wife.
Yeah.
So the marriage was consummated according to a bulk of the reports when she was 9 years of age.
Right.
And she was past the age of puberty.
Sure.
See, in historical terms, any girl or any boy, they are given in marriage when they are culturally, when they are ready to get married, to take the responsibility of as a husband or as a wife.
Sure.
If they are spiritually, psychologically, biologically, culturally, if a person is ready to get married, they were given in marriage.
Okay.
And Jewish culture, Christian culture, any culture, that was the norm all throughout history.
Okay.
Yes, you understand that, right? Okay.
Yeah. I can see the historical point.
Yeah. So for that reason, Islam also allowed that, and that's the reason Prophet married her, and she was the exception. The rest of the marriages, like he married Khatija, she was 40 and he was 25.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he married Sauda. She was 63.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
According to that time, that's old age.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So he married all of these other people just to break the norms and to take care of the widows and the orphans, and
Right.
for all the reasons I mentioned.
Okay.
Now, so Matthew, when you look at historically, it is a norm all over the world for the girls to be given in marriage once they reach the age of puberty. In the time of Moses, that was the norm. Like in the Old Testament, there is no minimal age.
Sure.
Yes. And according to my research, many Jewish historians, right, they have mentioned that Jewish girls were given in marriage once they reached the age of puberty, right? So that was the norm in the time of Moses.
Right.
So Moses allowed that.
Okay.
Important. In the time of Jesus, that was also the norm. Jesus allowed that. All throughout him, people were marrying, girls were getting married. Jesus allowed that. That was the norm. Okay. In fact, you may know that according to the Catholic Encyclopedia, Mary was 12, 13 or so age when she was engaged to Joseph when he was 86 years of age.
86.
Yes. Some sources say 90, but many sources say 86 years of age.
Okay.
She
fair
was
enough.
12 and he was 86.
Right.
So according to biblical terms, according to Old Testament times, New Testament times, Catholic Encyclopedia, Jewish scholars,
Right.
that was the norm.
Sure.
All throughout Europe in history, as you can say, that was the norm. Up until the late 1800s. Even in the USA, you may be surprised. Up until 1880, so there are 50 states in the US, right?
Sure.
Almost all the states in the US, the average age that was allowed for marriage was 10 years.
That's intense.
So suppose if this is a marriage hall, and then we all came for for invited by the bride and groom, the groom can be sitting there 20-year-old, and then in comes the bride who could be like, let's not say 7, let's say 10 years of age.
Sure.
Right? And it will be norm. People would be clapping, people would be having marriage party, a 10-year-old bride. That was the norm. Up until 1880. In the state of Delaware, the age was 7, legal age.
That's terrible.
But why terrible? Because it's a cultural fallacy, Matthew.
Sure.
If you look at other cultures and judge other cultures, right?
Right.
Because suppose if you say
Presentism is what it's called, right?
yeah, presentism, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So suppose if you say, what age would you say would be normal for marriage, like now, for example, for
I mean,
girls?
I would just defer to the age of consent, like 18.
Which is okay, fine. If you say 18 now, right? Okay, suppose tomorrow, let's say next century, people raise the age to like 21, saying that 18 is too young, man. They're babies. Come on.
Right.
What if they judge you, saying that Matthew, come on, man, you guys are a pedophile. Okay, whatever they accuse us for,
Right.
They may do that, but they would be wrong. That's cultural fallacy for them to look at us and us to look at them.
Right.
So exactly, right? So Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that marriage to Aisha and the consummation of the marriage was a norm all throughout history.
Okay.
Just when we raised the age for our girls, recently I would say less than 150 years ago,
Right.
now we are looking back, we are projecting back and saying, you know what, those girls were young, those brides were young. But that's a fallacy, right? You know, all the founding fathers of the US, they approved 7, 9, 10-year-old girls. Abraham Lincoln, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, you know, Hamilton, every one of them, they all approved young girls to get married.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not proposing that we should bring it back because cultures are different.
Right.
What I'm saying is that culture by culture, it's different.
Sure.
Last but not the least, okay?
Yeah.
So when that marriage happened of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, with Aisha, peace be upon her, so marriage was consummated when she reached the age of puberty, right?
Yeah.
So she was psychologically, biologically, physically, spiritually, culturally, all ways that she can have a condition for a marriage, she fulfilled all of them.
Okay.
Yes.
At 9 years old?
Yes.
Okay.
Biologically and, you know, physiologically she was ready.
Okay.
Yes, and culturally too, by the way. Right? Fine. So when that marriage happened, not a single wife of the Prophet raised any objection to it.
Sure.
No single Muslim raised objection to the marriage. All the neutral non-Muslims, no objection from them. All the harsh non-Muslims, not a single objection from them. Even though they used to look into minutely the life of the Prophet, just to take any objection to his prophethood, not a single one of them they said anything against that marriage.
Right.
So that means culturally that was 100% acceptable, as much as if you go to a marriage party and you have a 25-year-old bride.